This video was brought to you by the official C-Bunny Discord server. Talk to friends of the fanbase using the link in the description below. In the late fall of 2010, Hasbro premiered its most expensive animated toy ad in the shape of Transformers Prime. The goal was to raise the next generation of impressionable kids on a new take of the franchise following the 2007 live-action movie. In short, that goal failed, and the show was considered a financial failure. The design of Optimus that came from that specific TV series, coincidentally, happens to be a design not visited by many toy companies, much less any LEGO Transformer creators. Introducing Tfp Optimus Prime. When beginning the design process, I knew that the aesthetic of both respective modes would be difficult to fully capture, so some sacrifices had to be made. I based much of the transformation on the original first edition Optimus, which has an insanely simple yet effective conversion that has not been replicated since. Despite some issues faced with the fact that the medium is a blocky brick building system, Prime features rolling rubber wheels, which is a clear departure from my usual aesthetic of solid plastic discs. There are also some exposed studs on the truck bed, which could be used for a trailer hitch that I'm likely not going to build. The hood of the truck was by far the most difficult section to build. As stated in the short series I made for the design process of this build, the rounded shapes of the robot mode had to be fit into the square, almost Bayverse-esque truck. With that, onto the transformation. And here we have Prime in his robot mode. I think he really captures the rounded design aesthetic that mixes Transformers animated and Bayverse. He has extremely broad shoulders, a very skinny waist, short thighs, large feet, and bulky forearms. I'm most proud of the fact that the smokestacks ended up in the perfect location, accentuating his triangular silhouette. Unfortunately, the tires weren't able to be placed in the perfect position, which would be behind the smokestacks on the back. but they ended up in a close enough location on the triceps. And thanks to Stutopian Studios for helping with the upper arm design, using a second ball joint under the actual shoulder for a valid connection point for the steer wheels. Secondly, a big thanks to Crimson Toaster 47 for helping with the hand conversion that folds out of the forearm. Again, the original intention for the transformation was inspired by the first edition Prime toy. The arm conversion is extremely simple and effective, but recreating its magic in LEGO form would simply be impossible at this smaller scale. Crimson helped simplify the arm to a single block that could serve as the truck grille and bumper on one side and the vague forearm shape on the other. The transformation was by far the most complex upper body design I've ever come up with, and the help provided is a big reason for the completion of this build. So please go give them some love. They're awesome. Another aspect of the build that I'm really happy with is the color scheme. As discussed in the short series, the type of blue was a toss-up for me personally, but the majority of the comments suggested I use dark blue. Another friend of the channel, Rythulian, further pointed out that the official LEGO Optimus Prime, set number 10302, contained a small printed 1x2 tile with a similar pattern to the vent details necessary for the lower legs on my build. This ultimately was the deciding factor. Some color issues were faced when I discovered that essentially all the necessary blue parts were available in this less utilized color. I'm specifically referring to part 2540 and 30377. The former, which could be used a total of 4 times on both ends of the shin transformation joint, runs for a current used price of $3.92 each. That's not even considering the average US price, which is near double. The reason for its hefty price is because it was only ever used in 2 sets back in 2003. The second piece that I wanted to obtain for this build was part 30377, which is one of the many droid arms. This part could also be utilized a number of 4 times, but this part would be going for an even more insane average of $11.25, with the average US price closer to $20. Again, its extremely high asking price comes from its rarity, only coming in a single Star Wars set back in 2011. A likely contributing factor is the fact that this single part is used twice on one of the most sought after droids, looking to fetch upwards of $100. This is why the knees are black, because I didn't really want to spend $120 on 8 parts for a build that still looks good without them. For accessories, I made the ion blasters, which require a small amount of hand transformation to fit and slot in nicely. The hand swords operate the same way and look nice, especially with the small amount of trans blue. Finally, the Star Saber, which simply tabs into his hand. It's a bit thick compared to the reference, and I wasn't able to get the right colored cheese slopes, but it's absolutely necessary and is by far my favorite accessory purely for its icon status. I also included a deactivated version, which can be held in hand, but it looks a lot better clipped onto the smokestack. And to specify, it is designed to clip onto the right smokestack, but the left one works too. But Prime's weapons don't look any good without some poses, which is a segue for articulation. He has a swivel and up and down for his head, a universal joint and butterfly for the shoulder, bicep swivel, elbow bend, and universal wrist joint. There is an ab crunch, a cheating waist swivel, universal hip joint, knee bend, and ankle tilt. A very important goal for this build was to make Prime extremely posable, but with the developing engineering that had to coexist, I had troubles trying to sustain both objectives. In the end, both aspects of transformation and articulation had to take a slight step backwards, but I don't think that hindered the final product in any way because I'm still really happy with the solution. I will probably do a tutorial at some point, not sure when that will be out, but hopefully soon. The current priority is working through some of my backlog, which has some characters I know you lot would enjoy. The final thing I would like to encourage you to do is to join the official CBunny Discord server. On Discord, you can join the small amount of viewers that get to see the behind the scenes of nearly every build, as well as the ability to share your own creations. You get to see builds that never reach the YouTube platform, and best of all, Discord is free. All you need to do is click the link in the description to join. With that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.